Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. Current challenge is Blackest Night Hawkgirl. It's a 1 week repeat. Required characters are Batman, Joker, and Nightwing, who are available as cheaply as gold, silver, and bronze in the store. Her passive is Necrotic Life Force. Hawkgirl receives 15% health back when anyone in the battle is knocked out. And any Blackest Night character who is knocked out on Hawkgirl's team will resurrect once with 20% health. She's got 1240 attack and 1360 health. She was last available September 21st, 2023. Alright, she's got high stats. They are uncommon kind of base stats. They're not multiples of 50 or 100. If you want to see the last few times we used her as a team special specialist, you can click on the playlist that we've linked in the description as part of the Blackest Night team as a hugely important support card. And despite her being so good on Blackest Night team, the footage you're watching is a team meant to highlight her ability as a Special 2 specialist, which is usually not the best loadout for her on a full Blackest Night team. Because she's part of what makes Blackest Night Flash so annoying. She gives him a free resurrection, and because of his passive, he gets 100% health back instead of 20% health. And having her on the team is basically like having a second Blackest Night Flash for free. Previously, I've mostly played Hawkgirls as support characters because in general, and especially Blackest Night Hawkgirl, they don't have the greatest basic attacks or specials. It's easy to gear her like a tank. That was just in our Q&A the other day, right? We were talking about what's the team composition and whether the tank, basic, and specials kind of composition still works. And if you have somebody who's not great at anything besides being a support character, then the easiest thing to make them good at is being a tank. And then that way you let her teammates do all the hard lifting, and her passive actually means that you're doubling the number of teammates that she's got. So if you're going to be playing a Blackest Night team, I think she's an important part. It gives you 3 free resurrections that don't require any gear slots. And her value gets magnified by who she's resurrecting, in this case Blackest Night Flash, right? The best feature of it is inherently even Blackest Night Flash is inherently defensive with an offensive shading, which is probably why I don't play the team as much. There is offensive potential for sure with Blackest Night Flash, but that potential doesn't speed up the fights like other teams that we've highlighted in our season 12, where we're going back to old favorite teams. Now, in the footage that you're watching, and most recently when we've been playing her as the special specialist and the star of the team, one of the benefits that we've really noticed is that she gives decent damage from her special 2, and she isn't limited by only being able to knock out the opponent on the last hit. Every single hit has the potential to knock out your opponent, giving all the benefits that come with your special 2 spreading across multiple opponents. It also allows you lots more choices for your third gear slot. As we saw on Lucha Urbane last week, if you're focused on a special that only knocks out the opponent on the last hit, Enchantress is a really great option. And I think the 2 best third gear options on a special specialist are probably Claw of Horse and Enchantress Companion Gear. And in this case, what you're watching is that minor tweak where we're using Claw of Horus as her third gear. So the bad news about this is, not her specifically, but just sort of for the meta for the game, this is the first time in 23 weeks that we've had 2 old challenge characters in a row, right? That 4-year repeating challenge cycle that stopped 23 weeks ago, we've been keeping track of it. For the first bit, it's been alternating between that 4-year challenge repeat cycle and the missing characters. And it was alternating. This was supposed to be not Blackest Night Hawkgirl. She was the regular one, and we were afraid this would be the case because of the pack that came. And we were right to be scared. There are still 12 more missing challenge characters to potentially put back in the schedule. So we've had 11 come back. We've still got 12 more. And it's not looking good. We'll get into it more with the packs that are in the store right now, but we might be waiting a lot longer for the other missing challenge characters to come back. This week's multiplayer reward is Rebirth Wally West, also known as Wally West the Flash. His passive is Speed Force Merge. Chance to dodge any special attack and then counter attack for large damage. If teamed up with Rebirth characters or Flash characters, the chance goes up. Rebirth characters also receive a power generation boost. He's got 1350 attack and 1300 health. He was last available February 29th, 2024, on a leap year. So unlike the challenge cycle, nothing is missing from multiplayer rewards. If the pattern holds, next week should be gauntlets. They become gauntlets of Azrael. So Wally West, good high stats. I think he's got the highest stats of any of the Flash characters. He's got fast basic attacks like all the Flashes do. And I feel like the most important part of his passive is dodging specials. And unlike Dawn of Justice Batman, Wally West can still dodge when he is stunned. He's a great potential counter against cards that either stun on Taggin or that have been geared to stun on Taggin, especially if they're geared to increase damage against stun. So if they've got Cloak of Destiny or Necron Scythe, this is one of the few things that work to protect you against that. Because you've got some protection against specials. And basics are less likely to knock you out in one combo. He's still not perfect against Tentu Totem, because Tentu Totem, they get their power back. But none of the special dodgers have been great since Tentu Totem arrived. And I guess the good news is at least you still do a decent amount of damage if your passive triggers and you dodge the special. So they get their power back, but you're smacking them around a bit. With a full Rebirth or Flash team, that special dodging triggers about half the time. And in general, I like to use Flash as a basic damage dealer. Just all the Flash skins. Wally West, no different. He's not as good a special specialist, since his special 2 damage is reduced by half of what it should be for his given damage stat, because it's got a power drain effect. So his passive makes him, more durable, makes him more like a tank, but he still isn't a great tank. He is a better special specialist if you primarily use his special 1, and when we stick him on a team, that's typically what we like to do. And we've talked recently about how there's not a lot of characters that in the current meta with Tentu Totem are still really good as a main damage dealer doing just basics. So maybe a Rebirth team is a little better than a full Flash team to max out his passive. As we've shown on our static team, Rebirth Raven is great as a secondary special specialist, plus protecting the team against specials by draining the opponent's power. And whichever other Rebirth team member, in this case Wally West, can then be your primary special specialist. All right, in the store, this is what I was saying about not so great news. It's the Red Lantern challenge pack for 200,000 power credits. You get a 6.16% chance of getting him instead of the 2.86% chance in the regular challenge pack. And it is not worth it unless you literally sell back every other copy of every other character. Even if you're keeping like 1 or 2 extra, 1 maybe becomes a bit of a wash, and 2 you're better off buying the regular challenge pack. We did the math. We've opened a bunch of packs. Not a great purchase. So hopefully that's not a corroborate included next week's challenge, but I'm afraid that it is, because if it is Red Lantern Hal Jordan, it would be the 3rd week in a row of old challenges, and we're still missing 12 challenge characters. So then there's no indication of when we're going to get those other 12 challenge characters back. So let's hope. But the problem is, typically challenge packs, even if they don't have the character that's going to be the next week, they can sometimes be a clue. So if it's a different skin, but there aren't any Green Lanterns that need to come back, that haven't been around for years, that aren't part of that 4-year challenge, repeating challenge cycle. So the bad news is it looks like we're going to be waiting a long time for those other 12 challenge characters to come back. What other packs in store? So we got the Ultimate Bundle Bringers of Justice for its second week. We talked about that last week. And there's the Arkham Pack 1 for $24.99. That's in Canadian dollars. It's only currency that matters. And this is the better Arkham Pack. And if you read the description, it contains 3 powerful random gold cards in the Arkham series. New, just added. Arkham Knight Batman, Arkham Knight Harley Quinn, and the Arkham Knight. And it's funny whenever they say new, like it's new, but nothing's changed for years. We're just grateful to have this pack back. It states that there's a 10% chance each of Arkham Knight Batman, who is probably the star because I don't think there's really any other way to get him for the first copy at least. There's a 10% chance of Arkham Knight Catwoman, same for Arkham Knight the Arkham Knight. Arkham Origins Bane, Arkham Origins Batman, Arkham Origins the Joker, and then it says 40% chance of gold character. So based on our previous pack opening, unless something significant has changed and we don't have any reason to think it has, then the rest of the breakdown is 10% Arkham Knight Harley Quinn, 15% Arkham Origins Deathstroke, and 15% Arkham Harley Quinn, who's normally that rare drop in the gold packs. So despite that 10% tease, when everything that they list is going to be 10%, it seems like, oh, well, could be 10 different characters, but it was only 9. And that means the Arkham pack was and probably still is missing Arkham Killer Croc and Arkham Knight Batgirl. And I think Arkham Knight Batgirl is really one of those S-tier characters that you want. What else in the store? Nothing new. Everything else that's in the store has been there for at least a couple years, maybe 3. And yeah, that's it for the store. Phantom Zone, we still have 1 more week left. Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough for golds was, as expected, Zod, Aquaman, and Shazam. This coming weekend is probably Catwoman, Deathstroke, and Raven. There's a link in the description to a thread in the Injustice Mobile subreddit from Devlin16 that goes over the complete breakthrough cycle. So as far as the current glitches go, we will go into more detail every time something significant changes, which did not happen this week. However, even if nothing changes, we still do a more detailed review once a month, the first week of every month. And surprise, that's this week. Now, if you're not patient enough to sit through this, there is a video tutorial for every working glitch in our playlist, Current Working Glitches, linked in the description of this video and in the eye in the top right corner, where we explain in detail, in real time, how to do the glitches that still work. The way we usually approach this each week is that we start in the discussion with significant not working glitches, because it's easier to find something that's there. It's harder to find something that you think should be there or used to be there or that you really want and you're not sure if it's actually available. So right now there is no working glitch for credits that we're willing to endorse. We talk about this in more detail in a previous episode of our Q&A, Season 6, Episode 9. The key part is that it has to be something that we're willing to endorse. So some people had and have been successfully exploiting a glitch that requires 2 devices being logged in simultaneously into one account. And we only endorse and recommend glitches that we test and confirm ourselves. And being logged into one account on 2 devices is not a glitch that we're willing to do repeatedly because of the risk of messing up your account. The chance of account bleeding where parts of one account overwrite another account. And that's great if you end up accumulating like good stuff in one account. But if you end up wiping out the parts that are actually good and having a mismatch kind of mishmash of stuff, then you could end up, spoiling your account a little bit. The glitch for getting repeated past multiplayer season rewards is not working. The glitch for early multiplayer season rewards is not working in a way that's exploitable. Some people are experiencing that inadvertently, and they get rewards at the beginning of a season or very early on, and they are unable to rank high enough to get the premium reward, the one that you need to be in the top 5% for, play the rest of the season. At the end of the season, because they've already gotten that season's reward once, even though it's not the good one, they can't get it again. And then you see lots of messages about that on the boards about why that's happening. It's because of that. It's that you got it early. There is no glitch to get through Phantom Zone quickly, although we have a whole playlist of speed runs, and they're pretty fast. The glitch that used to let you get free energy without watching the video for, with the ad, it's also not working, and that's separate from the time shifting that you can do for free energy. So, working glitches. The glitch to let you play Phantom Zone repeatedly is still working. As we mentioned in the glitch video, its greatest value may be in avoiding the 50 nth medal that it costs for the 2 replays that you normally get, since it takes a lot of time to play it through completely 3 times on the elite level. The challenge reset method that requires Google Play Cloud Save is working. It's confirmed on the current Blackest Night Hawkgirl challenge. The challenge reset can remove Phantom Zone progress and vice versa. So if the Phantom Zone you've got progress on it, you got to remember that, because it's basically the same glitch. So you got to be willing to lose that if you're going to do it. So what you want to do is make sure that you're finishing both at the same time. I mean, they both take a decent amount of time. I find that the Phantom Zone takes just a little bit longer in general than the challenge, so that kind of progress is more precious. But if you're maybe not doing all elite crystals, maybe you're going a little bit faster, and it doesn't matter. But it's just something to keep in mind so you can make an educated decision. We've got a comment from viewer Tanme Kakde in the description. We cut and pasted it, where you can download less data, fewer files, by moving some stuff around on your device. So it moves out of the folder where it's looking for it, and you bring it back in after you've done the challenge reset. Because, listen, I don't know about you, more than gig of data takes a little bit longer than I want to wait to re-download. And if you're on any kind of limit with your device and you're not on Wi-Fi, then it's kind of wasted data. What's next? The breakthrough glitch to let you play repeatedly is still working. Nothing really special about that. The airplane mode / refund glitch is still working. It's good for both packs with random drops, also known as loot boxes and last laugh tickets. It does not work for us in the Phantom Zone because the Phantom Zone requires an online connection. Now, we strongly recommend against doing a variation of this where you switch between accounts instead of clearing app data. Too big a risk of account bleeding again, and that might be where people are finding some success. We've seen people saying that by logging out before the final boss fight and switching accounts immediately if you don't like a reward is an option to re-roll for your Phantom Zone portal reward. We haven't been able to get it work even with clearing app data, and some people on iOS report that it's working for them. Can't comment on that. We're Android only. And minor reminder, I mean, the difference in price between a 200 nth medal pack and the selling price of 240 nth medal for each medal character offers an opportunity to exploit the glitch for nth medal. It seems to take a lot of time, and my preference is actually for more play, especially multiplayer, for getting more nth medal, maybe even Survivor too. Time shifting still works in Android for unlimited Survivor play and energy recharges. Again, remember to return your cooldown clock back to normal before you finish. Not doing that or doing that too late is probably the number one reason why people don't have events showing up at the proper time. And by events, I mean the challenge and Survivor. That if you're messing up with your clock, it doesn't seem to trigger, and people have been complaining that they don't get their challenge when they're supposed to. That's it. So in between not working and working glitches, we have the promotion glitch where you can promote characters that are still locked. It hasn't had the right conditions since update 2.14. So it's still not testable, still not usable, but not testable. It's one of those conditions that you need the challenge in the first slot of the main page, but it's consistently been in the second slot with a cash pack in the first, or just anything in the first. So even if the other conditions come back, the glitch still won't be doable. Now, it's still on our list, and we're going to remove it from the list once the required conditions show up and it fails us for the first time, which it hasn't, because we are pedantic. And that's why it's still there. So we have a Patreon, and if you want to support what we do with more than just reviews, you can click on our avatar at the bottom right corner at the end of the video. A big thank you to Michael Devries, Irvin, Ruiz, Hoshi127, and Nora Klimek, who are supporting us on the credited level. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. Komoda.